Now it's time for Getting Legal with Tim Misny.
And good morning. Welcome to another edition of Getting Legal with Tim Misny. Took the show outside today, and what a beautiful day to do it. Let's talk about, we've been talking a lot about insurance and drivers around Cleveland, and you've been getting a lot of calls about this issue.
Right.
I guess, how often do you get a call where they say, well, I got into an accident and the other driver doesn't have insurance?
Jason, I get calls like that every day. In fact, probably the vast majority of people driving around Cleveland do not have insurance. Times are tough, and when people have to cut back, oftentimes they cut back on their insurance coverage. Even though it is a state law to have insurance coverage, sometimes people, for whatever reason, can't afford it and they don't have coverage. So I would say that probably 1 out of 3 cases, there is not adequate insurance coverage to cover the claim.
And that's a very interesting thing, because, you think about in times like this, where can I cut?
Right.
And sometimes people look at their insurance policies and say, I'm paying an exorbitant amount.
Right.
How can I fix this policy? I've done it where I try to call up and they say, well, look, the only way to save now is to lower the coverage.
That's right. That's right. Well, you got to be careful because, unfortunately, accidents happen. And when an accident happens, Jason, you can't go back in time and call your agent up and say, I want to have a good policy. So you're stuck with it. So what you need to do is call your agent and make sure you have adequate coverage. And I'm talking about adequate coverage. It depends upon your situation, of course, but the state minimum is only $12,500.
And you're saying that's not enough?
That's not close to being enough. You ought to call your agent and talk about what's called an umbrella coverage, which goes over that. So for a few $100s a year, you could have a substantial, like $1 million umbrella on top of your policy, which gives you great coverage.
Okay, there's a lot more to discuss on this. How can people get in touch with you?
1-800-55-MISNY.
All right, and of course, MisneyLaw.com. Tim, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks for watching. This has been Getting Legal with Tim Misny, sponsored by Misny Law.
When it matters, make it